really liking what you do, whatever area that you get into. Given that, even if you're the best, there's always a chance of failure. So I think it's important that you really like whatever you're doing. If you don't like it, life is too short. I'd say, and also if you like what you're doing, you think about it even when you're not working. I mean, it's something that your mind is drawn to, and if you don't like it, you just really can't make it work, I think. When you're building something new, there's going to be mistakes, and it's important to recognize those mistakes, acknowledge them, and take corrective action. And the success of a company is very much more about how quick are you to fix the mistakes, not will you make mistakes.
Or admit the mistakes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And if you see the difference between a startup that is successful and one that is not, and it's because the successful one, they both made mistakes, but the successful one recognized the mistakes, fixed them very quickly, and the unsuccessful one tries to deny that the mistakes exist.
So you are very famous in saying that failure is actually an option, and if you're not failing, that means you're not innovative enough.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like I like failure. I mean, who likes failure is terrible, but if you only do things that are certain to succeed, then you're only going to be doing very obvious things.
Tell me, what is an entrepreneur to you?
I think somebody that is probably somewhat of a generalist, even though they may have specific strengths in certain areas, technical, business, or wherever.
And generalist, you mean just kind of like see the bigger picture?
Still think see the bigger picture, but I mean in terms of skills. I actually think most people can be a generalist, but being a generalist means doing some things that you don't necessarily like doing.
I don't like doing things that I don't like doing.
Right.
So being innovative can be very exciting in life, but doing business sometimes requires persistence, and sometimes could be very boring. Do you have the same fun from innovation as from business, running a business?
Well, I mean,
or would you rather to be just an innovator, engineer, instead of a business owner or runner?
I mean, I'd love to just do innovation work and just do engineering, but you raise a good point, because a lot of life in general, in any job, there's you have to do your chores. There's
nobody else can do that for you. Right?
Well, I think to be successful at almost anything, you have to do the tough stuff and as well as the enjoyable stuff. You have to do the boring stuff as well as the non-boring stuff. And if you don't do your chores, then bad things will happen. But if they don't do the things that they don't like to do, then the company will be in trouble. You have to, you basically it's more fun to cook the meal than to clean the dishes. Okay, but you need to clean the dishes.
You need to do both.
Yes, you need to do both, exactly.
Successfully growing a small business to a large business.
Okay, well, I mean, to be frank, I don't think there's it's intrinsically good to grow a small business to a large business. Sometimes a small business should be a small business. Sometimes businesses shouldn't exist. Sure, it's true. It's not about growing a business for the sake of growing a business. You have to say, what is this important problem that you're trying to solve that really matters? And then go try to solve that.
For sure, uncharted territory will result in failures necessarily. Otherwise, you're not trying hard enough. I mean, I do think that, in terms of creating a company, what Edison said, which was it's 1% inspiration, 99% perspiration, is true. So a lot of it in creating a company is execution. You start off with an idea, and that idea is mostly wrong. And then you adapt that idea and keep refining it, and you listen to criticism. Some criticism you discard, try to discard the wrong criticism, try to listen to the correct criticism, and then engage in sort of a recursive self-improvement, and constantly refining it and making it better. And you have to work super hard, and that's very important. And then just keep iterating on a loop which says, am I doing something useful for other people? Because that's what a company is supposed to do. And a company should only exist if that product or service is truly useful to customers.
I read a quote, which I hope it's true, from you. Tell me if that's not the case, that you said that the most common hiring mistake was weighing too much on someone's talent and not on someone's personality. And then I think it matters whether someone has a good heart.
It does, yes, absolutely. So that's generally where, if I say where sort of the hiring mistakes that I've made in the past, it's been just as I said, it's looking too much at their intellectual capability alone, and not on how they affect those around them. What really matters is for someone's contribution to a company is how they are as an individual and how they affect others around them. I mean, you could say it's also analogous to a sports team. You know, if someone, the best person on the team is not necessarily the one who scores the most goals. It could be the person who assists in the most goals. And if somebody is, if there's one person on the team who's just wants the ball all the time, just wants to kick it at the goal, that can actually be detrimental. So it is important to weigh personality and just you know, are they going to be a good person, and will people like working with them, and that kind of thing. It does make a difference.